What if I told you that one bad night could steal 11 years of your life? That the justice system didn't care about the truth, only about locking someone up? I spent over a decade in prison for a crime I didn't commit. And now, every single day, I wake up knowing my name will always be stained. A murderer, even though I never pulled the trigger. This is my story, and by the end, you'll see just how easily an innocent man can be turned into a villain. I was 22 when my world collapsed. I wasn't perfect, but I wasn't a murderer. I was selling weed. Yeah, I know, not the smartest thing to do, but at the time, it was just how I got by. It wasn't violent. It wasn't hurting anyone. But one night, everything changed. Two guys came to my place, not to buy, but to rob me. One of them had a gun, and before I even had a chance to react, things turned into a struggle. The gun hit the ground. I lunged for it. The guy lunged for it. His friends started stomping my head. In the chaos, the gun went off. One shot, straight to his chest. And just like that, my fate was sealed. I ran. They ran. Panic took over. The robbers, knowing what they had to hide, wiped the gun clean, removed the clip, and tossed it out near a hospital. Maybe they thought that would erase the truth. Maybe they knew that, no matter what, the system would believe them over me. But I didn't run far. I turned myself in. I told them everything. I thought the truth would set me free. Instead, it locked me in. The police tore through my life, my home, my car, my job. Looking for a gun, a bullet, something to tie me to a murder they were determined to pin on me. They found nothing. No firearm, no prints, no evidence. You'd think that would be enough to prove my innocence, right? But no. Instead of reevaluating the case, they changed their theory. At first, they tried to say I brought the gun. But when evidence showed the robbers tossed it, they twisted the story. Now they claimed I had gone into some kind of uncontrollable rage, shot a man who was just trying to non-violently rob me, and then, somehow, he still managed to get the gun and run away. It made no sense. None. But that didn't stop them. The trial was a circus, a horror show where I was the only one wearing chains. The girl who set me up, the surviving robber, they got to walk in, dressed nice, living their lives, sitting in that courtroom as if they were victims. The jury? All white. Not a single person who looked like me, who understood where I came from. My lawyer? Useless. He let the prosecution twist facts, manipulate evidence, make arguments that should have been shut down before they even started. I sat there, watching my own life being stolen, and I could do nothing about it. I was charged with 5 different degrees of murder. 5. Not because I had actually committed any crime, but because the prosecutor knew exactly what they were doing. They didn't want the jury to focus on whether I was guilty or not. They wanted them to focus on which crime they thought I was guilty of. And it worked. After days of deliberation, they couldn't agree. At first, 9 of them wanted to acquit me entirely. But the other 3, they refused to let it go. So instead of proving my innocence, I had to settle for compromise. They found me not guilty of intentional murder, but guilty of unintentional murder. Somehow I was convicted of a murder I didn't mean to commit with a gun they said I never had. Even the logic of it was broken, but the system didn't care. The courts called it logically inconsistent, but not legally inconsistent. And with that, my fate was sealed. 11 years. 11 years of steel bars, cold concrete, and the suffocating weight of injustice. 11 years of knowing the people who did this to me were free, building lives, having kids, sleeping in their own beds, while I was trapped in a cage eating oatmeal and beans. 11 years where I was forced to wear the label of something I was not. And now I'm out, but I'm not free, because this doesn't end just because I walked out of prison. I'll always have this record, always be that guy, the murderer. Even though I never murdered anyone, even though the real criminals walked away without a scratch. People tell me I should let go of the hate. That anger won't change what happened. Maybe they're right, but tell me, if you were kidnapped at 22 and held hostage for 11 years, wouldn't you be angry too? Wouldn't you feel like the world owed you something? This has eaten me alive every day. And the worst part, I don't know if I'll ever be able to let it go. That's just the beginning. The next chapters of my life are just as painful. Reintegrating into society is a battle of its own. Every job application, every background check, every sideways glance reminds me of what I lost. I try to keep my head up, but how do you move forward when your past won't let go? The prison system didn't just take my freedom, it rewired my mind. I still wake up in cold sweats expecting to hear metal doors slamming. I flinch when people walk too close behind me. I don't trust easily, and why would I? The very people who were supposed to stand for justice were the ones who stole my life. I want to believe there's a future for me. I want to believe that I can find peace, love, and purpose again. But right now, I'm just trying to survive. Because even though I've been released, I'm still fighting to be free.